Yeah, you know what time it is. Come brawl with them boys of the fall. Covered in gray and scarlet, massive, stiff arms to your jaw. We breaking it. We sick of seeing you clowns with the crown. We taking it. Number one flaws, you don't know ball. We taking advantage of that. Got you Karens asking where the manager at. With no cap, no time for the amateur rap. Look, man, we got dogs all over the depth chart. Monsters on the roster. Straighten up that posture. Rooting out you imposters. Silver bullets in the chamber. And a D-line full of danger. Step back with that linebacker trigger, when he pull it, it'll bang ya. Running backs running down here. Touchdown on your IG reel. Better check the stats, buddy, it's straight facts over how you feel. Whenever I speak, I'm giving you more balls than German Village, Short North, and High Street. And you know, the average Joe can do nothing with my flow. It's a waste. Somebody please give this brother an I.O. Come on.
I told y'all before, I need to feel y'all's energy. Stop sitting on y'all hands and get this place lit. Like I said, bring the energy.
Yeah, you know what time it is. I'm raw with them boys of the fall. You know what time it is. On the ground with a nose for the ball. You know what time it is. Blood, sweat, and them tears for this game. Leaving it all out on the field with no fear for you lame. You know what time it is. I'm brawl with them boys of the fall. You know what time it is. On the ground with a nose for the ball. You know what time it is. Blood, sweat, and them tears for this game. Leaving it all out on the field with no fear for you lame. It's Buckeyes by a billion. We in the building with over 100,000. We represent from the...
Yo, what is good, everybody? What's up, y'all? What's up, chat? Stilly Matt in the chat. Ken Taco Hut. Yasharel LG. All the usuals. Lady Buck. Everybody. What's up, y'all? Me and Funky are very, very excited to get at y'all tonight. This is our last show of 2024, y'all. Ain't that crazy? This year done went quick, man. But it's been a great year. I think this year has been a great one for this podcast. You know, this is our first season. You know what I mean? Doing this, and I think it went over well. I don't know how y'all feel, but we've had a lot of fun. You know, even through the losses and stuff like that, man, we've had some great engagement. So we greatly appreciate y'all. But we're gonna talk about this Rose Bowl matchup. We're gonna touch on some portal updates as well. But I'm so fired up for this game, and I hope the intro video, you know what time it is, got y'all fired up as well, man. The boy Curtis Grant getting everybody pumped up in the locker room. What's up, Funky? How you feeling?
What's up, B Moses? Yeah, I mean, what a year it's been. Crazy year. Definitely not how I had it chalked up going into this year. But hey, this is where we want to be at this time of the year. We're in the quarterfinals. We have to win 3 games to win it all, and we're playing good. So we're probably the hottest team in football right now. We'd be a favorite versus anyone, according to Vegas. And hey, we will have to take that. We have 3 more games for the Buckeyes to do. And if they win this next 3 games, they go down as one of the greatest teams of all time. And if they lose one of the next 3, then they go down like every other team, really. So just they know what to do. They know what they're playing for. Clearly, we're playing good football right now. So just got to get it done Wednesday, because, I mean, this is really the biggest test of the year. So it really does get easier from here. So just got to get it done. This is a revenge game, and this is the chance for this for Jack Sawyer and JTT to really cement their legacy, because right now their legacy is they don't really have one, to be honest with you. So, but if they make a run here and if they win these next 3 games, they go down as some of the greatest ever do it. So that's just what the boys, they're playing for. They're playing hard, and Funky Buck will be in attendance at the Rose Bowl. So let's go Buckeyes. I'll be here next Sunday, no matter what. And hopefully my voice will still probably be shredded, but hey, hopefully I can be here, come back next Sunday and be celebrating with you guys. If maybe even through like a translator or something, you know? So, yep. But yeah, go Buckeyes. And I cannot wait for Wednesday. It just can't come soon enough. It's weird to be looking forward for a Wednesday game, but right. And the team just got here today. So the boys are ready. The boys are here, and I'm pumped up. It's gonna be a fun one. You see Ohio State Buckeye fans all over where I'm living right now. Like, you see Buckeye fans all over, Oregon fans as well. But it's cool to see Buckeye Nation out here in Cali, and it's gonna be a fun time, and I cannot wait. I'm excited. We should go Thursday, B Moses, if we win that game. That's all I gotta say. So I don't think I could wait for Sunday. So.
Man, are people going to be? Well, I guess people are going to go back to work on Thursday. So would they even watch? I
Oh
don't know,
no.
but we might make y'all watch. If we win that game, we might have to pull you out your job real quick, have you clock out for 30 minutes at least. But yeah, I'm super excited, man. I've been diving into Oregon a lot per usual, just like I did with Tennessee. Went back and rewatched the game. I've been on social media, of course. Buckeye Sports Talk with B. Moses just hit 25,000, y'all. Just hit 25,000 on my Facebook. Very happy about that. With that growth comes trolls, comes other fan bases, like cocky, arrogant Oregon fans. Also, I was on Twitter Spaces with C. Grant and Chris Drew, Truther, and some Oregon fans. And boy, these Oregon fans, man, you talk about cocky. I'm just like, you would think after only beating us at Alton, the toughest place to play in the country, which I don't disagree. Them and Penn State, they're up there. And, only winning by 1 point at home. And then watching us absolutely smash Tennessee, a top 10 team, in the playoffs, you would think there would be some humility, but nah. Their podcasters are talking about, and again, look, this is what I do. I will purposely listen to their pods, several of their pods, their insider. I want to hear what they're saying. Their podcasters are, in my opinion, very confident, overconfident in some ways. Oh, we should have beat you by more. We controlled that game throughout. And I'm just like, I'm rewatching the game, and we were up 28-22 going into the fourth at your crib. How is that controlling throughout? But anyway, Oregon fans, listen, Oregon, they're a good team. They have a lot of talent. Right now the NIL war chest is just unfathomable. They're on the rise. They're doing some great things. But for a fan base who has 0 titles in their history, you would think there would be some humility. Just saying. And you got to play Ohio State, who you beat by 1 at home, again in a neutral site. Listen, it's going to be a great game. I think it's going to be a great game. Oregon can absolutely believe they can win this game. I have no problem with them believing they should and can win this game. It's the overconfident cockiness from their fans, as if there's some that's saying it's not even going to be close. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just like, it's just weird. Now, I know Lady Buck said Birch is back. One of their trump cards. Well, we didn't have Birch then. Well, we lost our first round left tackle in the first half. Don't forget that either. We lost a big piece, in the first half against y'all. So we can go tit for tat on that, and we'll get into that. I don't want to get ahead of myself, but Funky, I wanted you to jump in. What have you seen on social media, on the internet, for Oregon fans? How are you feeling about this matchup? And we can just dive right in.
Yeah, I mean, you can clearly see who's a new Oregon fan and who was an Oregon fan in the past, because
right.
I mean, seemingly a lot of new Oregon fans that are very, very confident. I mean, they're not used to winning too, BMOs, that you have to realize. So, I mean,
yeah, true.
They haven't won a natty, and rest in peace, Jimmy Carter, but he lived 100 years and saw 0 Oregon natties. So, I mean, that just, and clearly, they're clearly a really, really great team this year. And I think they have a right to feel confident to an extent. But, I mean, the thing that I kept saying that kind of made me laugh, it's like, well, we got stopped in the red zone a lot. Like, we had to kick some field goals inside the 5-yard line. And I'm like, well, I mean, yeah. Good thing Ohio State has the best red zone defense in the nation. So it wasn't just a you thing. Like when you struggle to really move the ball, or what they have an elite pass game. But the thing about the red zone is passing in the red zone becomes 10 times harder. So right. When you play an elite defense, who your biggest weapon is the downfield threat, and you get to the red zone, of course it's going to be harder to score. So that's logic. What is fluky is our only running back fumble of the year, or at least by Quinshon and Trayvon. I think
hand was injured going into that game, by the way.
His hand, he broke his hand before that game. But people knew that. But then the other onside kick, I don't think it was on purpose, but who knows? Maybe it was. I mean, but let's just say that stuff doesn't usually happen. The ball doesn't perfectly bounce off the guy's helmet and land to an Oregon guy's hand. That's kind of the fluky stuff I remember seeing. And the big play, 50-yard, 60-yard touchdowns, just gigantic plays that kind of, when the game was kind of getting a little out of hand, they kind of just got like when we were up like 7-8 and we're kind of dominating, moving the ball at will, and they get a 3rd and long and then get a big 20, 30, 40 yard play because Denzel Burke kind of forgot how to play football for a game. I mean, that's kind of fluky stuff I've seen because we've let 4 passing touchdowns all year and 0 since that game. So that, to me, that seems fluky that we didn't like stop them more. But hey, I don't really care. They have a right to feel a little confidence, but the facts are, I mean, Vegas has us projected to win. So anyone who really thinks it's going to be a total blowout, like they clearly don't really. I mean, they clearly like. They should bet it then, because if you think it's gonna be a blowout, then or you can get Oregon at plus 120. So you could really make a ton of money off that. So that's all I got to say about that one, B. Moses.
I agree. I mean, Vegas is not 100%, but they like money. So, I mean, if it was just going to be basically to your point, let me read this quote. This is from a Oregon insider named Justin Hopkins. First of all, he said he doesn't see any scenario where we win. Ohio State said he's going to be very surprised if Ohio State even keeps it close. Okay. This is their insider guy. Okay. Also, direct quote from Justin Hopkins. I'm highly entertained at how cocky Ohio State fans seem to be entering this game coming off that Tennessee win. It's like they forgot once again, Ryan Day and Chip Kelly not only can't beat Michigan, they haven't beaten Oregon either. Okay. So first of all, again, from my assessment, my honest assessment from seeing the exchanges online, Oregon is the cocky bunch. I've seen a lot of Ohio State fans like, yo, we can do this. If we play like we did against Tennessee, we can win this game. You know what I'm saying? We lost by 1 at their crib. We can win this game. That's sound logic, right? But on the flip side, again, it's we shouldn't have lost. We shouldn't have won that close. It should have been a bigger margin. But they don't even count the fluky onside kick that bounced off of Caleb Downs that they had to have. The freaking 12-man on the field gimmick that's now no longer even, you can't even do it anymore because it was stricken from the rule book. You know what I'm saying? It's just like, listen, it was a great game. It was back and forth. There were some things that happened. This notion that, you should have won by more or you're going to win by even more on a neutral site away from Autzen is wild to me, especially with how much better our defense is playing. And listen, I said this after the game, and all people in this chat, people on my page just wanted to kill me because I said our defense overall was not bad. I went back and rewatched the game, and they weren't. Burke himself gave up 7 completions for 160 yards and 2 touchdowns. You feel me? Alone. One
Lord.
person. So the rest of it, the defense did a great job. We had 2 fourth down or red zone stands. Like we made some stops. JT Tuimoloau, he made a mistake. He got greedy on the zone read and went after the running back. Stuff like that. Our defense has played much better. Like Funky said, we have not given up 1 passing touchdown since that game. Now, the Oregon fan retort is, well, you haven't seen an offense like Oregon's. True. We haven't seen a prolific passing offense like Oregon's. However, that still doesn't discount that stat. That's a very impressive stat. We've seen 2 top 5 teams since that game, Penn State and Indiana, and they're not trash on offense. They put up some numbers this year, especially Indiana,
especially versus Oregon.
Right, exactly. Penn State put up 38 or 37, whatever.
Well, they ran for 8.1 yards per carry, B. Moses.
Right.
8.1 yards per carry. So
don't try to poo-poo the stat that we haven't given up a passing TD since the game. I understand Oregon's offense is a little more prolific, but let's not act like we just playing Akron every week since then. That's just not the case. So, I think the defense and what Jim Knowles has done structurally, making some tweaks. I went back and kind of studied and looked into it. We really don't have time to dig into it. Like, that'll take half the show to really try to explain some of the things that they did, but they did some things schematically that was brilliant against Tennessee to account for. I'll just say this. At the naked eye, it appeared that there was light boxes for Tennessee to run in. It was like a 4-2 look, but we had Caleb Downs coming down at safety in the middle that was sort of playing as a de facto Mike, and he was clearing, like he was basically run fitting as a Mike linebacker, even though he was technically a nickel, but he was able to drop back in coverage and come down in the box when needed. We were doing things on the line of scrimmage to account for the A gap, but we were also bringing our corners down and dropping our safeties back to cover the deep. It was brilliant scheme by Jim Knowles, okay? And the point is, since that Oregon game, we've done some things to not expose ourselves like we did with leaving Burke on the island like that and just stuff like that. Also, we're getting more pressure.
Yep.
It's a world of a difference for your secondary to not get beat deep so much when you're actually getting pressure on the quarterback. We ran no stunts against Oregon. We were rushing 4, sometimes 3. There was one play that we only had 2 rushing and we dropped back. Like, the game plan on defense is going to be so much different. And that's why I'm so confident this go around that we really have a shot to win this game, especially if our offense executes like they did against Tennessee. And they still executed at a high level against Oregon. Howard, and I'll be done in a second, Funk. Howard had a really good game outside of the little slide and the botch snap. Like, he was actually very precise for that game. He threw for over 300 yards and 2 touchdowns. He didn't play poor overall. So I'm excited about what we can do redemptively in this matchup against this team. Go ahead, Funk. Sorry, I had to get all that out, brother.
Oh no, I get. Well, hey, you're speaking facts there, B. Moses. Yeah, I mean, Will Howard's best game of the year, in my opinion, was the Oregon game. That's why people forget that. Really, I think that was his best game. I mean, Tennessee game is obviously 1A, 1B, but definitely his best regular season game for sure. Howard looked, I mean, in amazing. And you're totally right. Ohio State is going to live and die by the pressure of this game. We're not going to let Dylan Gabriel, his 5'5", like 130-pound quarterback, sit there, not get hit like as much as he did the last time around, because they have a good offensive line. So we're going to bring some pressure to really get to them. And I think the cornerbacks want that. I think Iggy and Denzel Burke have something to prove. And then clearly, I mean, Jordan Hancock has been the just like the silent MVP this year for our defense. Like, no one really talks about him, but he's just been so good. And Lathan Ransom, like, people forget about him. Like, him and Jordan Hancock have been so silent good. And then clearly you have, I mean, the best player in college football right now, in my opinion, Caleb Downs, on your team. So, and that's your secondary. I mean, every single one of those people they'll be first. They'll be NFL players. They'll be playing Sunday for 10, 15 years. They're all just superstars that we're going to miss really much, or we're going to miss them a lot next year, a lot of them. So, but hey, I think they want the challenge. I know they want the challenge, and I know Jim Knowles is going to fire up more pressures, and I'm sure Oregon knows that too. But I don't think they want us to do that, because I mean, he's a short man, and I'm telling you, hit him quarterbacks, once they get hit once or twice, they stop really looking down the field, and they try to do the Kyle McCord, I call it, kind of when the pressure starts coming, just kind of collapse and fall down. And I mean, Dylan Gabriel has done that in the past. So I want to live and die by the pressure, and I want to trust our cornerbacks, because I mean, Tez Johnson and Evan Stewart had literally one good game all year, and it was against us. So I mean, I just think that's unlucky. I just think the cornerbacks are coming to play. Like, if Denzel Burke gets burnt again like he did last time, I'd be shocked, because they're professionals. When you embarrass a professional, they come out the next time and they look way, way better. That happens all over the NBA, the NFL. Like, you rarely see someone lay an egg twice in a row. So I really think Denzel Burke's going to go out there and play his best game of the year, because this is the game he circled on his thing. And Will Howard talked about it, how they circled that game on their calendar. He said, we're going to see this team again. And hey, they are. So, and it's in the best place in the world, the Rose Bowl. So Ohio State has a good history at the Rose Bowl, at least in my lifetime. And yeah, I was at the Oregon game, where 2010 was that. So yeah, I mean, I like where we're at right now, and our defense looks a lot different than it did then. So yeah, we're just gonna pressure the crap out of Gabriel and trust our defense. And I really think that's why I talked to B. Moses before the game, or before the show, and I was talking. He asked me like why people think like I talked to him about why I think Ohio State has a possibility to blow them out, and I said it's because our defense could just shut them out. There's a really good chance our defense just shuts them out, and I really do think there's a real good chance on that, because we've done that against pretty much every single other team we've played in the nation. So if our defense plays as good as they have been playing, and even plays better, like let's say they play how they played against Tennessee, then Oregon's going to have a real, real rough day, because their defense is not stout. So we're going to score points. I mean, I know Nevada is all over the over, so I guess that'd be the funky bet of the week too, the over. But we're gonna score points. There's no chance that Ryan Day goes out there with the same game plan he had versus Michigan, and that was about the only bad game plan he had all year. So I think they're gonna. I mean, Chip Kelly wants this one too. I mean, Chip Kelly might want this one more than Ryan Day does, because Chip Kelly's been getting kind of owned by Oregon ever since he left. Given he had way worse talent at like UCLA, and clearly the first time around versus Ohio State was just a total. I mean, we've not been called for OPI all year, and they call it the biggest moment of the game, that one. And I mean, that's all I got to say. Like, they gave us we have so much receipts to pull out. And they're not Michigan too. Like, he brings up how Ryan Day can't beat Michigan. Well, good thing Michigan's not in the playoffs, B. Moses. So we don't have to play Michigan. So I'm not sure why you're bringing that up. We don't need to play them. That's kind of seems like a shot. I mean, Game Lanning could barely beat Washington. Michigan owned Washington, and Washington whooped his ass last year. So I mean, Dan Lanning is a notorious choker in these like big games, like especially in the postseason. So I like the Buckeyes, and I think we have a chance to completely blow them out. But I think that Oregon could win Oregon. The only path of victory for Oregon is if it's a shootout. That's what I'll say. It's either going to be 40-35 Oregon wins, or the game is going to be 35-10 Ohio State wins. That's kind of the two ways I see it happening. Oregon needs a shootout, and they need to score a ton of points. While I think Ohio State, you can pretty chalk in 30-plus points for them, because, I mean, Oregon's defense is not good. I mean, we'd have to play so bad to keep that defense, like, playing good. So, which, I mean, shoot, after that Michigan performance, I guess you can't rule that out. But I would bet on over in Ohio State. That's just my read on the game, looking back at it.
Yeah, no, I hear you. And to your point, now listen, you talking about guys playing better. You know who else is playing better since that game? Cody Simon and Sonny Styles.
Oh, that is yeah, no, you're right. You're totally they're playing themselves into like, high draft picks, especially Sonny. Sorry.
Our linebackers are playing much better than they were in that game. I'm not saying they were terrible, but they weren't where they are now, especially with the fact that we're bringing more pressure. And Cody Simon, is a big part of that pressure package. When we have 5, rushing, and Cody Simon is blitzing off the edge, he's been phenomenal with that. And Sonny Styles has been solid. He's been in position and making plays. So in this matchup, when we're dialing up more pressure, because here's the thing. Yes, clearly our game plan, we were very nervous about Dillon Gabriel getting out the pocket, getting out the back door, when we're not integral with the gaps, and, him escaping. So we dropped a lot in coverage and, rushed 4 and didn't try to really get after him because we were afraid he would get out the gate. Well, now with the aggression that we have our safeties to help account for that. Because here's the thing. Let's go back. Boise State and who was the other team they played at the beginning of the year? Idaho. Yeah. They played Boise State and Idaho. Do y'all remember Dillon Gabriel was getting hit? He was getting sacked and hit because they were bringing pressure. Okay, so Dillon Gabriel, like any other human being, quarterback, under pressure and duress, is not going to just be able to sit back there cleanly and just throw accurate dimes down the field. So obviously we don't want to blitz every play, but bringing pressure this time around with a sound manner, with what we've been dialing up and how well our linebackers have been playing, and not to mention Downs and Ransom and how disciplined they are to be able to cover on the back end, or to be able to, help and run support if he does escape. That is going to be crucial. And that's going to be a huge difference in this game. I'm telling y'all, you know what I'm saying? So I think we really learned our lesson in that game. It's going to be a lot harder to isolate our DBs on an island when you got guys in your face and you can't set your feet to throw an accurate ball downfield. You feel me? So, something to think about. But again, I'm not worried about our offense at all. Like, I think our offense is going to move the ball. Chip Kelly, I believe he's going to continue from being in his bag like he was against Tennessee. He caught a magnificent game against Tennessee. And so, again, like Funk said, he wants this game. He gets another crack at the Rose Bowl coming off the momentum of that Tennessee game and how the O-line played with a lot of help schematically from the coaches. Because, again, with the Michigan game, I told y'all, it wasn't just the coaches. The coaches were poor, but the O-line didn't execute either. But this game, they both executed, and the play calling was great. So I expect more of the same. But anyway, Funk, go ahead and jump in. I'm going to look at some of these comments. We got some super chats coming up as well. And how do you feel about that, man? I know you kind of got excited when I mentioned the linebackers. I mean, people are not really talking about that.
No, Cody, I think the scheme helped them out a lot there, B. Moses, because we knew that they were good players going into the year. It's just this, they went from kind of having seeming loss out there to, they're really firing right now against some real good teams. So there's just, I'm trying to look it up real quick, but I kind of forgot the full stat on it. Oh no, I found it. Ohio State gives up 11.4 points per game. The next closest is 13.3. That might seem close. That's 2 points away from each other from Ohio State and Texas. But in percentage-wise, that's what, 15, 20% difference between between Ohio State and the next best defense in the nation. So when we clearly have the best defense in the nation, and it's only been playing better since the Oregon game. And even in the Oregon game, they didn't even play that bad. It was just, again, like we said weeks ago, it was really just Denzel Burke. Denzel Burke really just, the moment, the lights were clearly too bright at that moment for him. So, and I think he probably underestimated him or whatever. But let's just say that that's not going to happen twice. I would bet anything against it. Denzel Burke is not going to go out here and get embarrassed again, because pros just don't do that. Like I said already, if you embarrass a pro, the next time you see that pro, they're going to be a lot more locked in, and they're going to be playing just with that much more like power and thought, and the whole team is really going to be like that, but especially Denzel Burke. So, and Will Howard. So, whatever. Our Oregon's flu game versus what a miracle they had versus Penn State. They played with the flu. I heard every single player in the team got the flu, B. Moses. So, Oregon's team.
But when we had the flu against Michigan a few years ago, it was crying. It
was crying. Yeah, no, but the flu, what a miracle the flu game. I'm sure that, the flu game caused Penn State to run for 8.1 yards per carry. I'm sure that was what a horrible sickness, But yeah, all I gotta say is we'll see Wednesday. But I really truly think that Ohio State's. We're gonna be fired up. There's too many things are going our way right now for me to not be confident going into this game. Clearly Oregon's really good, but you don't beat a team twice in the same year. That just really doesn't happen. You can look at Georgia, Alabama, an SEC championship game, and we're 22, and Georgia's defense just got absolutely cooked. It was embarrassing. Georgia got completely embarrassed by Bama, I think in Atlanta for the SEC championship game. And then all of a sudden, what was it, a month and a half later, or whatever, two games later, Georgia goes out there and puts a defensive masterclass versus that same exact Alabama team. That was like the Bryce Young Bama team. Sorry, a really an elite Bama team. And they clamped the crap out of them, if I remember correctly. You could maybe blame Jameson Williams' injury for that. But that's just another example, though, of just like the best defense in the nation getting embarrassed and then bouncing back and playing way better. That's just what happens, because these kids are pros at this point. Ain't really, they ain't high schoolers. They're getting paid hundreds of thousands of dollars, millions of dollars, a lot of them. So they're going to be ready to play. So it's going to be fun, though. Like, I have no doubt that Oregon's probably going to stay in this game for a while, and I think Oregon has a chance to put up a lot of points versus us still. But I just think Ohio State just is going to put up one more, So that's all we got to do. I think the boys are ready just to win by one. So
yeah, and let me address something. Troop Dog in the chat keep talking about stop talking about blowouts and as if we're going to jinx something. Listen, if you listen to everything Funky said, he's not just coming out saying this is not going to be close. It's going to be a blowout. He was giving examples like, hey, these are the paths of how this game could go. And he gave his reasoning behind it. And you heard him just repeat how, this will probably be a close game. So we're not being Oregon podcasters right now just saying this ain't going to be close. This is going to be a blowout. They got no chance. We're not doing that. He was just giving some paths like, okay, I could see our defense is really good. This, if anybody's going to lose by a couple touchdowns, it's them because of XYZ. You may not agree with that. That's cool. But it's not that we don't respect Oregon. This is going to be a great game, in my opinion. I think it's less likely, in my opinion, that this is a dominant blowout game. I think this is going to be a 7 to 10 point margin at most, maybe. I don't know. We'll see. But I expect a great game between both these teams. But I'll say this, with our defense, and reiterate what Funky was saying, with our defense and the offensive output that we've seen against Tennessee, if they can repeat that execution, I think we have the potential to make this a bigger game than most people think. I'll say that, but I'm expecting a tough, hard-fought game. You know what I mean? So,
but if we play how good we did versus Tennessee, then we're gonna blow them out. That's what I got to say. Do I expect us to play that good as we did versus Tennessee? No, clearly not. I wouldn't expect that. That was perfection. But if we do play that good, then I'll say that then we're gonna blow them out because. I mean, we could have scored 70 versus Tennessee. So, and Tennessee's defense is better than Oregon's. So, if we put up 60 or 42 and 3/4 versus Oregon, then it's going to be a blowout. But that's what I'll say.
I feel you. And that's cool. I mean, I just, again, man, like with this game, I'll just tell you what, as a fan, okay, I want to win this game badly. Number one, Oregon fans have been insufferable, okay? Again, where's the humility for a team who's never won a title? I'm sorry. There's rules to this. There's just rules to this. You can't be walking with the swag of a blue blood and you have 0 natties, okay? That's just the rules. I didn't make them up. That's the rules. Number two, I want to wipe that smirk off of Dan Lanning's face. I can't stand it. And then thirdly, it will be glorious to win this game, the Rose Bowl, with our history with the game, and advance to get to this ship. Period. You know what I'm saying? I want this win badly, but a lot of it is because from a fan standpoint, I'm just tired of Oregon fans talking as if they got ships to even lean on. You know what I'm saying? So that's all I'm saying. I see you in the chat, Oregon fan, and all that. Also, let's get to some super chats, if you don't mind, Funk, and then we can talk about the portal and more Oregon stuff. We still got a good amount of time, but I see they're starting to stack up. First of all, thank you, Rollin Coconut, for becoming a new member. Appreciate you, brother or sister. I'm not sure, but appreciate you anyway. D Sunny, thank you for the $4.99. Do you see any starter on O State defense that wouldn't be drafted when their time here is up? I don't. I love this team. I think we got it. Funky, or do you, off the top of the head, I'm thinking that wouldn't be drafted like right now?
Oh, no.
Anybody you could think of?
0%. I mean, I would have trouble finding people who wouldn't be drafted in the first 5 rounds. There's more kids on Ohio State or starting 11. That's what we're talking about. They're probably going to all be taken in the first 5 rounds for sure. The majority will be taken in the first 2. Just off the top of my head, Tyleik Williams, Jack Sawyer, JTT, all for sure. Caleb Williams.
They're all, yeah.
Ty Hamilton will probably be like, second, third rounder. Denzel Burke will be a second, third rounder at this point. Iggy will be a probably second, third, fourth rounder. Jordan Hancock will probably be a solid second, third rounder, maybe fourth rounder if he really starts to fall. Latham was an All-American, so you could probably pencil him into the second or third round. You can go too deep, and I have trouble finding people who win it. It's like, the defense this year is scary good, but we're losing a lot next year. But we're also returning a lot, though. We're returning. Styles is going to come back, and Styles is going to come back, and we got Caleb Downs clearly. So, but we're going to have 9 defensive draft picks in this year's draft. Oh, and maybe Iggy comes back. So we'll have 8 defensive draft picks probably in this year's draft, which is absurd. But we just got to appreciate it while they're still here. So.
Yeah, I agree. I can't think of any starter. They're all getting drafted, even if it's a later round, which. They're all getting drafted. So there's your answer. I just can't see any of them that wouldn't.
Unless they tear their ACL in the pregame warm up, So, not to put that in the world, but unless they, just injure themselves in the combine, then yeah, they're all going to get drafted for sure.
Yeah, for sure. Real quick before we go to the super chat, shout out to the Buckeye boys, Mello and Dev. Be sure to subscribe to their page, Buckeye Boys with a Z at the end. They go live at 5 every Sunday as well, and they give great content. They got a bunch of interviews with recruits and their parents and all that. Go check out their page when you get a chance. All right, next super chat. The career guy, 199. And remember, Birch played against Penn State. Yeah. So, I mean, again, they Oregon got multiple excuse bars they spitting about their defensive performance. That's fine. Flu and whatever else. That's cool. We'll just strike that from the record. Nothing to see here. Defense is rock solid. Bet. All right. So what else we got? Sean Rollins, thank you for the 10. Where can your single be purchased? You know what time it is. So it's on every streaming service. As far as purchasing, I think iTunes. I mean, you can go there and purchase it there, iTunes, but it's available on every streaming service. So make sure everyone out there, y'all go save it to your playlist, bang that joint, spin that joint, share that joint. Appreciate it. All right. Mike Green, what's up, brother? Thank you for the $4.99. B-Mo, what up, big dog? Your boys seem like they're on a mission. This just feels like a humble killer demeanor. You can feel our confidence. Absolutely. I agree. And listen, I was on the field. I got blessed. Thank you to my brother Jalen, Buckeye Scoop family member, my brother Jalen, man. You the real MVP, man. This dude hooked me up with a sideline pass for the Tennessee game. And some of y'all saw my footage. And I was right there. And I felt the energy. I saw it. Like them boys, I felt like they was going to come out and ball, just being that close to them before the game. And yes, this game to me just gave them even more confidence. And I know some people will ask, can they put back-to-back great performances together? Are they still hungry? Are they reading their press clippings? I mean, I get all that, but it's kind of hard when you still have a lot more work to do. And most importantly, you lost to this team on the road by 1 point in heartbreaking fashion. What more motivation do you need? Right? I mean, if we lose this game, it's just because they're the better team. I don't think it's because we just not focused. You know what I'm saying? So I feel you on the humble killer demeanor and the quiet confidence. This team is hungry. I think they showed it on the field, and I think they're ready to play in this game, and they're going to execute at a high level. You got something on this, Funk?
Oh, I mean, we're just playing. I mean, all I can say is we're playing our best football when it matters. So that's all. Like we said, it doesn't matter. The regular season at this point means nothing. So we can scrape those 2 losses away, because even if we're Oregon right now, sitting in 13-0, Oregon's goal is still win 3 games and win a natty. Our goal is win 3 games and win a natty. So, and we're playing our best football right now. And that's all I can ask for. So yeah, but you're totally right. I think the boys want it more than we do. I mean, that's the one thing. Like you brought it up back in the day. It's like, oh, like don't jinx it or blah blah blah. It's like, or like don't be this confident. It's like, well, we're not on the team, so like we're not playing. So we could say whatever we want. Like it ain't really gonna matter. I'll affect the game more than most of any of these Oregon fans will, because I'll be there screaming my butt off. So. Hey, that's what I'm going to do, and I can confidently say that. So, yeah.
Man, Funky, listen, that is one of my biggest pet peeves, and that reminds me, I'm going to post this later on X and on Facebook and stuff, but for those of y'all who have seen the movie Friday After Next, the Christmas version, where Pops is talking to Uncle Elroy, and he was like, read my lips, look at me, you ain't no player. I don't know if I remember that part. The point is this. I'm going to post something like Funky said, where we talked about, how fans be like, stop talking so confidently. And, we got to get ready for Oregon. We got to focus on Oregon. Stop posting these memes. I'm like, dude, we ain't playing. We ain't got to focus on nothing but ordering our wings, kicking our feet up and watching the game, dude. You ain't no player. You ain't got to worry about execution. You ain't no player. All right? Get it through your head. I hate those takes. It's a terrible take, and it irritates my soul. All right? So Thank you for mentioning that.
Yeah, I already got my game plan set up. I'm going to be at the Rose Bowl. I'm going to be the first one there, B. Moses. And if Ohio State wins, I'll be the last one out. That's my game plan. And if Ohio State loses and it's looking ugly, then I'll be the first one out. Because if you've been to the Rose Bowl before, you don't want to be sitting in that traffic for that long. So that's what I'll say. If we're getting blown out, then hey, my game plan's hey, just get out of there, you know. But if we win, I will be the last one to leave that stadium because hey, the traffic's going to be there anyways. So absolutely just gonna. I already told everyone I'm going with, all my buddies and our parents. If Ohio State wins, I'm gonna sit there in the chair and just enjoy it because hey, we ain't want to sit in that traffic anyways. So I'll let every single other person leave in the stadium, and I'll make the ushers kick me out before they get me out of there. So.
Yeah, I feel you. And then I'm so jealous that you get to watch that beautiful sunset in person, bro. Like just even on TV, it's just magical. So yes, I'm very happy for you, brother, that you get to look at that. And Tamara, is it It's so funny. I went to school with so many Tamaras and Tamaras, and they all spelled their name the same way. How do you pronounce it? Is it Tamara or Tamara? Anyway, makes a good point. You got what is it? Rest versus rust. Like are they gonna come out a little rusty? I don't know. That's that's kind of the whole debate. As Ohio State banged up, or is that gonna hurt them? Whatever. I don't know. We'll see. I just know we need to come out and jump all over them. You know what I'm saying? If they're not executing as well coming out the gate, we need to take advantage of that. Period. Like, do you think there's anything to that, Funky?
I think if we're playing 7 days before, I'd be a little more worried about it. But the fact that we get the extra 3 days, my math may be a little wrong on that. So I think we have 10 days before the game. I genuinely, and I'm not just saying that. I really think like those extra 3 days mean a lot because it gives everyone a chance to, just calm down and relax and get ready for the next game. So like, and I think maybe. Who knows? It was just hard to say. Because Oregon had about the same break that Ohio State had for the Tennessee game because they played in the Big Ten championship game. Yeah. So, and clearly we didn't look rusty. We looked the best we've ever looked. So it'll just depend. But hey, we've seen it before in bowl games where teams look rusty in the first quarter, especially defensively look rusty. You can pretty much look at every single college football playoff game, or obviously the majority of them, not every single one, where a team just looks like, what the heck? You didn't play like that all year. What the heck, man? So. Yeah, So that's what I'll say. And you can look at a lot of them. So and it's gonna be this game is every playoff game it's always they're high scoring. So I think it's gonna be electric. So it's gonna be fun.
I agree. And one thing I want to just touch on briefly, I think it's been hilarious how Scum fans have tried to deflect and divert our attention back to them. You know what I'm saying? It's like on every post, it's like, but aren't you still mad about Michigan? No, we're done with you. We've moved on. We're in the second round of the playoffs. Do we ever want to lose to you? Of course not. We hate your guts. I'll never, like I said last week, I'll never forgive the coaching staff and this loss. Just like the 2015 Sparty game at home when we didn't feed Zeke, I'll never forgive them. As much as I love Urban Meyer and I'm very grateful for the Natty in 2014. None of that gets taken away. But when you talk about case by case, I'm never going to forgive him for that game. It was trash. I'm never going to forgive us for this game a few weeks ago against Michigan. However, in this new college football world, it's a different animal. We are in the playoffs. Our focus has changed. We want a Natty. Give me Natty over Scum win any day. Do I want both before y'all crucify me? Do I want both? Yes. Every single year, I want both. However, this is a different college football world we live in. We lost the game in goofy fashion, but guess what? Now we on a Natty run, and that's what it's about. So I'm not going to sit here miserable thinking about Scum when we can beat Oregon in the Rose Bowl and move on. You feel me? Like to me, that is logical fan here. And I don't know how y'all feel about it because I know there's some goofies out there who say I'd rather go 1-11 if that means beating Michigan and losing everybody else. Like, nah, bro. You're the one Saban's talking about that needs therapy.
Yeah.
Again, hold on real quick. Again, we want to beat Scum every year. Don't misunderstand what we're saying. We're just saying it's time to move on and focus on the playoffs. Go ahead, Funk. Sorry for yelling.
No, you're good. I rather. This might be a really hot take. I rather just a chip in a chair rather than beating Scum. So If you're telling me I just have a chip in a chair every single year to win a natty, or I could beat scum and not make the playoffs, then give me the chip in the chair every single time. Because I mean, throughout my whole life, we beat Michigan. Literally until in the last 4 years, really. So, but I don't remember going to bed after losing to Clemson in the playoffs, or heartbreaking losing to Michigan State, not making the playoffs, and or winning these Rose Bowls and not be making the playoffs, or losing to Clemson 31-0. I don't remember going to bed after those games being like, oh, at least we beat Michigan. What a successful season. I went to bed being like, man, like this sucks, like blah blah blah. And I remember the message boards being erupting, fire Urban, fire Urban, fire Urban. Like, so it's like clearly I want to beat Michigan every year, but I mean, I'd much rather be where we're at right now than Michigan, like playing in a meaningless bowl game compared to the quarterfinals with a chance to win a national championship. Because like Kirk said, Kirk's teams don't get celebrated at all. They went, or not undefeated really. They won multiple Big Ten championship games. Kirk went 4-1 versus Michigan, 4-0 when he's actually playing freshman, or besides his redshirt year. So, and his team, no one gives a crap about those teams, you know this, because they didn't win the Natty. They got blown out twice. They don't get any reunion or anything. They get spit on. So they won the Big Ten. They beat Michigan. They did all that. They didn't win a Natty, so no one cares. So that's what I want to say. Like if we win a Natty, I don't give a crap. This team will be celebrated for 100 years down the future. So
right. Didn't Kirk say? Wasn't he the one who said they don't bring you back at halftime to pay tribute to you for beating Michigan, but they do for natties?
Kirk has that team hasn't been invited back once, and those are some of the great Ohio State teams of all time. But because they didn't get the job done in the Natty, because they got, frankly, embarrassed by LSU in Florida, right? Yeah. Then no one cares about those teams. When's the last time we heard about the 2020 Ohio State team, or the 2019 Ohio State team, two of the greatest talented wise Ohio State teams in my lifetime. But people don't give a crap anymore, because it's we didn't win a Natty. We didn't get the job done. Everyone only talks about us getting blown out by Bama and losing to Clemson in heartbreaking fashion. That 5-year anniversary was a day or two ago. So, and people still talk about that to this day. They don't talk about whooping Michigan's ass or Michigan dodging us in 2020. People don't bring that up. They do, but not in the sense I'm talking about. They look back at those seasons as disappointing, not. So that's the same logic I want to do. So if we lose to Oregon Wednesday, I'm going to be pretty much just as disappointed as if we were 13-0 like Oregon and we lose to in that game. So because if Oregon's not, if we win this game, or if Oregon loses this game, their fans aren't going to be like, wow, what a nice job by Dan Lanning. He won us a Big Ten title. We beat our rivals, Washington. We beat Ohio State in the regular season. They're going to be up in flames. They're going to be so mad and upset and crying. So it's just, they're like, oh, we can't win the Natty. Dan Lanning can't get it done. Blah, 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 blah. Throw more millions of dollars at high school 18-year-olds, 17-year-olds. So that's just where my logic stands. But clearly, we want to beat Michigan every year. Don't let that stand.
Right.
We clearly want to do it, but I'd rather a chip in a chair. That's all I got. I want a chip in a chair. And then after that, hey, it's house money.
And you got to remind people, because there's a lot of comprehension failure out there. I'm not trying to be mean, but people don't listen. So, yes, before we transition to the transfer portal, we absolutely want to beat Michigan every single year. We don't ever want to lose to them bums ever, 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 especially in the fashion that we did this year. You know what I'm saying? So, I hate them. I live here in Columbus, and we have way too many homegrown haters who rep for that team. I cannot stand it. However, I refuse to not adapt to the new college football landscape, which means you can lose that game and still win a Natty. So it's not either or per se. It's more so, hey, why would I stay miserable because we lost that game when we just beat Tennessee? So I'm not going to be the moron like some of you are online still posting Fire Ryan Day, as we gear up for Oregon. It's just stupid. It's just dumb. Okay. So anyway, let's talk transfer portal. And first and foremost, I'm going to give Funky his flowers, and you can just take your victory lap after I hand them to you, Funk. The tight end, Max Clear, first of all, I slept on him. He's a dog. His combination of size and speed and catching ability and blocking ability is really, 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 really good. He's an elite tight end, in my opinion. I didn't realize that beforehand. You know what I'm saying? I just didn't. But going back and watching him, I was super impressed. And so Funky, I remember he texted me like over a week before this news even dropped and said he had the goods on this. And he told y'all last week that he had the goods on this. And he nailed this thing. And this is significant because nobody, even Berm, came out and said they're not taking a tight end. And so Funky, look, Funk, don't sleep on Funk's connects, man. Funk got some connects. Go ahead, bro. There's your flowers.
Yeah, I appreciate B Moses, and I mean, absolutely right. I forget, it was Wednesday or Thursday. I put it on the board because I got real good information on this, and pretty much was like, Max Claire's a Buckeye, and I even knew exactly who offered him what. I said Louisville came second because his offense carrier went there. He offered a really big NIL deal, over $1 million to transfer to Michigan. It was a 2-year deal for Michigan, and it was over $1 million, close to $2 million that go to Michigan. And I was told, and even when, and I think I posted it Wednesday or Thursday or something like that, and that same day or a day later, Berm goes on his board and says, the report is fake. Ohio State's not grabbing a tight end unless I'm being lied to. Then, hey, a few days later, I'm told it's official. He's sending in his papers. It's official. And then all of a sudden, I think I posted on Sunday, and then a day later on Monday, the first crystal ball gets put in for him. And then all of a sudden that same day he commits. So, hey, that was a funky slam dunk right there. So
yes, it was.
That was good. I was very happy with that. But yeah, Max Claire is a beast, and I think he's the best tight end in the nation returning next year. He was third team All Big Ten, only behind Colson Loveland and Tyler Warren, who are two of the best tight ends of all time in the Big Ten history. So we got a stud in our team, and he wants to be a Buckeye. That's what I found most important. He wants to be a Buckeye. His whole family is Buckeye fans. His Buckeyes fans. His family friends are Buckeyes fans. He's from Cincinnati. And I want to talk a little more about this recruitment. I got a little more into it. I talked to people that I really got deep into this recruitment. And he said there's two guys, B. Moses, who really played a big role in his recruitment. One, not shocking, Caleb Downs. It's Caleb Downs. He said Caleb Downs played a huge thing going against the best tight end because Caleb Downs go against the tight ends in practice every day. Caleb Downs really put him as a priority, which is good because that means Caleb wants to be a Buckeye too. That's always good to know. We never thought he wouldn't, but that's just good to know in the future. And the second one is Buckeye Scoop members will know this is controversial. Kirk Herbstreit. Kirk Herbstreit played a huge role in this guy's recruitment.
Really?
He went to St. Xavier in Cincinnati. He went to which is the same high school as Kirk Herbstreit's kids, and he said Kirk put in what he did. What he really explained to me was Herbstreit gave him confidence in Ryan Day. Herbstreit kind of sat him down, and he put in a really great word for Ryan Day. And that gave him the confidence and the presence to be like, hey, I could be successful as a Buckeye. Ryan Day is a great head coach. This is coming from, Kirk Herbstreit. Clearly, and he knows football. Clearly, he's one of the greatest color broadcasters of all time, just purely off numbers and status. And trust me. And when I heard this, I almost spit out my water. But I was like, this makes a lot of sense. And that's what happened. I'm here reporting. You heard me last week go on my ramble about Kirk Herbstreit. I don't like the guy. Still don't like the guy. But I just got to do what I'm told, and that's when I'm told this information, I'm gonna report it. I have to be fair. And Kirk Herbstreit played a big role, and I think we underestimate how big of a role these Ohio State alums, especially who still live in Ohio, who are from Ohio, who have connections to these high schools, play in getting Ohio State players. So, that was a big bomb, and that was kind of, people took that in Nick's feelings on the board, but it's just, that's the facts. That's what happened. So, Kirk Herbstreit, Caleb Downs, and Chip Kelly, the three big people to really, that's why we got Max Claire on our team, and he's a star. He's going to go to the NFL next year, he'll be our first tight end to leave early for that draft in, a long time. I don't even remember the last one, to be honest with you. I would have to really dig deep in my memory brain for that. So glad he's a Buckeye, and a lot of portal stuff was happening right after that weekend. We were hearing buzzes, and I knew we were going to get some guys committed because the reason why Max didn't make it, I was told it's official, but it wasn't posted anywhere, is because he was like, Ryan Day wants him to wait. He doesn't want any distractions for this Tennessee game. he wants him to wait. So he told all the guys to wait for Monday, and that's why six guys committed Monday or whatever. So, and that all made sense to me. And we got some real studs. I think we killed it in the portal. And we're still gonna find more guys because there's some guys on these playoffs. All I'll say is Ohio State has contacted multiple kids on multiple playoff teams, and and there's gonna be some big movers in the portal, in the secondary portal, which is after the playoff. Once your team loses, the portal opens for your players, and it's gonna be let's just say it. I've heard some names thrown around that it's going to be a big second portal season, and I can't wait. And so that's all I got to say. There's some big fish in the pond that are just waiting for their team to lose, and they're ready to jump ship to maybe Ohio State, maybe the highest bidder. But hey, let's just say we'll have a chip in a chair with a bunch of high level recruits still while they're waiting to jump.
And to that point, man, people listen, y'all. I love y'all, man, but some of y'all gotta relax. Funky, did you see there was so many people when the portal first opened and we didn't just start grabbing people left and right after the first week? People were spazzing. I'm like, why don't y'all chill? You don't think? Just look at our recent history of the portal. We've done quite well in the portal, especially with linemen.
Pretty much perfect,
I was never sitting back like, oh my God, are we gonna get anybody? Like, what do y'all just think for a second before you start spazzing? That's one. Two, just kind of going over just real quick some of the guys we got. We got a nice sledgehammer running back, CJ Donaldson from West Virginia. West Virginia fans will warn you that he's injury prone, but he's not coming in to start per se. That's just my opinion. I don't think he's going to be our number one back.
Obviously not, no.
I think he's going to be our goal line back, our short yardage back, tough sledgehammer in this offense, guy that we haven't had in a while, all right, with his size. So you got him. Then you got the big fella, Ethan Onianwa. I struggled to pronounce his name last week. Big guy out of Rice, most likely going to play tackle. He looks the part. I mean, he looks very physical. There's some analysts who think he's the number one tackle in the portal. Some would agree, but some believe that he's up there as far as the number one kid. And then Phillip Daniels from Minnesota. That's a great story. Mm-hmm. Monica Daniels, Paris Johnson's mom, had an assist with that recruitment. You know,
they're relatives.
Yeah, exactly right. Mm-hmm. They're relatives. He's an Ohio kid, and LaCharles Bentley just posted on Twitter a couple of days ago about how he has the potential to be the number one, O tackle in the country level type guy. I mean, those are some good pickups. I know people see Rice. I know the casual fan will say, "Oh, he's Rice." Well, okay. Josh Simmons was San Diego State, and he got a lot of flack coming in here, thinking he was just some bum from some lower level school, but now he's probably going to go first round. You know what I mean? It's just like, just again, think for a second before you just, spout off. And another
the defensive end from Idaho State.
Logan George, exactly. You just read my mind. Yep, Logan George. So another depth piece. And listen, another low-level school, and I know he'll be immediately judged. I choose to believe the coaching staff is not just going to bring in crap just because they want to fill a slot. They like his film. Obviously, they think he has potential to do some things here in this system. So, let's see. Now, I know the big hitter is kicker, but from what I'm hearing is that they're willing to wait until the spring portal to get the kicker that they really want. You know what I'm saying? Like they're not just going to not get a kicker, okay? But just be patient. And we'll see. You got something on that, Funk?
Yeah, well, one, they're waiting for the right kicker. I think there's not really been any kickers that have seriously considered Ohio State that we've missed on. At least from what I'm hearing, they're waiting on a kicker. They don't want to freak out Jaden Fielding. Jaden Fielding literally has to play for us for the rest of the year. They don't want to freak him out and find his replacement while they're still on this playoff run. And two, the Idaho kid, he had 20 and a half tackles for loss. And he had the highest double team rate in all of FCS. So I mean, he's a stud. I really think we need an edge rusher too. So he's gonna play big minutes for us next year. And I think that's just a really underrated get because I'm going to talk about Michigan real quick because Michigan's class is ranked high according to these services, because these services rank these kids really highly out of high school and refuse to admit that they're wrong. They got a bunch of kids who haven't played a darn snap for these big time teams, but were former 5 or 4 stars out of high school. And just because they're a former 5 or 4 star, that they think they're going to be any good. I mean, Justin Hayes was the backup running back at Alabama. And Michigan paid him over $1 million for him to go to Michigan. Then the Bowles guy, I think Torrey Bowles, the linebacker out of Georgia, hasn't played any meaningful snaps for Georgia all season. And I knew Ohio State wanted him, and I think Ohio State became runner-ups in his recruitment when he was trying to go, but he hasn't done anything since he got into the league. And then they got the Fresno State quarterback. I'm like, oh, that does not move me at all. But they got the Cal Poly offensive guard, who, like, I can't even imagine the backlash if we would have gotten him. Even though I think he's a solid player, but I can't even imagine the backlash because, yeah, I mean. B. Moses just said it. We got a guy from Rice, and people are freaking out. Now imagine Cal Poly. So that's an FCS school. So look, all I got to say is I think Ohio State's recruiting class is the best recruiting class in the nation so far, and I think that's most importantly because we filled the holes that we need, and that we're getting guys for the right buck. We're not getting guys who are unproven, who we're paying $1 million, $2 million. We're getting a bunch of guys at the right price. And guys who want to be Buckeyes, a lot of guys who are from Ohio in the first place. So I think Ryan Day did an amazing job in the portal, and like I've said, he's not done yet. So ain't done yet, and we're gonna get. I think if I had to guess, I'd say 3 or 4 more guys. So I think we end up with 9 or 10. So that is there. And I'm not sure if you want to end it right now, B. Moses, or soon. But
we're gonna go a few more minutes. I know
we're gonna go. Got it.
Kirk,
Yeah,
they probably won't go to like what's in after. I wanted to touch on a couple more things.
Yeah, no, you go for it. No, I'm done. You can go for it. Yeah,
got you. So, Mike Green, man, appreciate you, brother, for the $4.99. To be real, Kirk was taken up for Ryan Day with what he said about the fans. I mean, a fan told Ryan Day, "Go off yourself like your dad." Nasty work. I agree. Now, listen, I'll say this.
That's crazy.
With Kirk. Kirk is a funny bird. Because Kirk, it's like a weird toxic relationship. Kirk Herbstreit, I do believe, has a love for I'll sound like a Southern Ohio State, a love for Ohio State. But he also has this weird, twisted way of expressing it. And like, for example, years ago, even in the Tressel days, in my opinion, what I observed from Herbstreit is he would go overboard to like overcompensate to prove that he wasn't a homer. So he would be extra critical about Ohio State unnecessarily. I think I mentioned this last week. But he's just a weirdo. Like, even with his comments, like, I didn't disagree with everything he said, because we do have a lunatic fringe fan, portion of our fan base. He's correct about that. I think he could have did a better job at kind of deciphering the differences between the types of people in our fan base, because he kind of broad brushed it a little bit, to where it just seems like if you were upset about the Michigan loss, then you're a lunatic fringe. Well, that's not the case, because I was upset about the Michigan loss. But I think it's more accurate. It's the fans again who are just going super overboard, talking about some fire Ryan Day on a get ready to beat Tennessee post, or get ready to be Oregon post, or just being a D-bag about it, when we're trying to get ready for the playoffs. Just goofies like that. But he didn't do a good job of that. So, listen, I get it. I think the attacks on Ryan Day should remain strictly on the field. And, he's not beating Michigan. Okay, attack that. Stay away from his family. Stay away from personal attacks. I don't care who you are. That's just ridiculous. And that would never be tolerated. It never should be. So, yes, I feel Herbie on that for sure. But I just think he kind of broad brushed a little bit in his comments and bit off a little more than he could chew with some of what he was saying. Because like somebody said in the comments, Shannon Sharp almost bit his neck off and was about to get at him. I don't know if y'all saw that, his response, but you got something on that phone?
Yeah, no, I mean, you nailed it. Like, I don't think he hates Ohio State. I just think that he needs to watch how he talks about stuff. And I think Shannon Sharp said it properly, because you when you're talking to millions of people, you better say the right stuff, because he comes off as a traitor a lot of the time, and someone who doesn't defend Ohio State, and someone who just is here just to try to harm Ohio State when he should be lifting us up. And do I actually think he means it? No, clearly, his kid's on the team. So, but I just think he goes about it the wrong way. And it's just when you have that big of an audience and you're coming from this big of this big of a fan base, you just gotta watch what you say, because clearly we know we have lunatic fans. Trust me, really, Ohio State fans are lunatics, really? Wow. No, we clearly have a portion of our fan base, and that's a bigger portion than a lot of could be the biggest fan base in America that are lunatics, and that's true. So, they're setting death threats around Day is just horrible. But we have so much so much more good in our fan base than bad. So I think Kirk just got to watch what he says and really just talk about it better. But yeah.
Yeah, and real quick, I'm trying to find a comment in the chat from this cat named JJ earlier talking about if we couldn't beat a physical team like Michigan, how can we expect to beat a physical team in the playoffs? I was like, huh? Tennessee was considered, all we heard leading up to the game was, this is another Michigan. They're just like Michigan. They're physical on both sides of the ball. They run the ball down your throat, and they're physical on defense in their front seven. Did we not get beat to death with that before the game, Funky?
They were ranked second and third in total defense, just behind Ohio State before the game. Obviously, after you let up 42 points in 3 quarters, you're gonna go down. But before the game, Moses, they're second and third. I forget what it was. It was second and third of Texas. They're right near Texas for the best defense in the league. So yeah, continue.
Yeah, and so and the best running game in the SEC, the vaunted SEC, by the way. So no offense, JJ. I'm just confused by that comment. There it is. Actually, there it is right there. Boom. There's your comment. Listen, no debate on the day fail. That's the coach. It's on the coaches. Listen, I know people don't like when I say this, but accountability needs to be spread around as it's if it's accurately, assessed. Meaning, players got to execute, coaches got to coach better. And in that Michigan game, it was not about physicality. It was about missed assignments. It was about not putting your players in the best position to make plays. It was about players not executing simple assignments, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Okay? Like, Michigan couldn't do anything. They couldn't run the ball. They couldn't really score outside of what we gave them a pick six pretty much from that interception from Will Howard and set them up. And you know what I'm saying? So, just stop it with these narratives, y'all. We just whooped a Tennessee team that was known for the physicality. So, yes, of course, in hindsight, you want to say they're overrated. Not you, JJ, but people, whatever floats your boat. But I just wanted to address that because that kind of rubbed me the wrong way. It was just weird. But anyway.
If we beat Oregon, too, it's going to be the same crap. It's like, well, Oregon's not as physical as an SEC team. Their defense isn't as good as the SEC team in Texas, and Texas has the best defense in the nation, and they have the best secondary in the nation, and Quinn Ewers is way better than Dylan Gabriel, and they're going to blah, 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 blah. And then we're going to beat Texas, and it's like, oh, Quinn Ewers sucks. And then if we beat Georgia on the Natty, then finally we'll get our flowers. So, yeah. But yeah, that's
the goalposts will be moved by haters. Yeah. It doesn't matter. It does not matter. And again, JJ, this is not against you. This commentary right now is just talking about haters in general, because I'm not attacking you. I was just confused by your comment, by the way. But yes, you're absolutely right, Funky. But guess what? We still gonna celebrate win by win. And so with that said, we should probably wrap up. Any last words, anything to say? This is our last show of 2024, y'all. I feel like I need to make a grand speech or do something crazy.
All I say is, it's been a fun season, a fantastic show. I'm extremely grateful for you, B. Moses, everyone who watches the show. It's a great community that we have, and I just love that we see the same people like Steely and a bunch of other people that just are here every single day. The Buckeye boys, Devin. I'll see Devin sometime this weekend because he's out here in Cali. It's a great community we have, and I'm very, very grateful. I hope we're going to be going every Sunday no matter what, but I hope we can talk about Ohio State football and our chances in the playoffs next Sunday. But even if we don't, hey, we'll be here. We ain't dodging any smoke. So we'll be here every Sunday, and just can't wait. And I hope that we get the win clearly, but Yeah, but who knows? We don't play. So at the end of the day, we don't really. Whatever happens will happen, and clearly we just want to win, and let's get the job done, one game at a time. Yeah, but thank you guys again, and let's have a great next year. Let's make next year. This is the biggest year in Buckeyes Scoop history, and hopefully we can make next year even better. So,
read my lips. You ain't no player.
No, exactly. Yeah. Well, that makes me a lot better because I used to get really nervous for games, and I still do a little bit. But now it's like, I ain't playing, so I'll do my job, Moses. I'll send you a video after the game or the next morning, no matter what, and you guys will get a voice check of how Funky Buck is sounding. I guarantee you, because I'm going to the game with some of my best buddies. AK, it's gonna be some fun times, Moses. That's what I'll say. It's gonna be a fun time. I can't wait.
Do something crazy. Oh, and not JJ. Thank you for the great show. Again, nothing personal. I just needed to address your comment. Love you, brother. I'm gonna do what the chat said. I'm gonna play the song as we walk off into 2025. Love y'all. We had a great time this year. Let's turn it up even more in 2025 and get this dub in the Rose Bowl. You know what time it is.
You know what time it is. Let's go. Let's go, Buckeyes, baby. Let's go.
Let's go.
Yeah, you know what time it is. Come brawl with them boys of the fall. Covered in gray and scarlet, massive, stiff arms to your jaw. We breaking it. We sick of seeing you clowns with the crown. We taking it. Number one flaws, you don't know ball. We taking advantage of that. Got you Karens asking where the manager at. With no cap, no time for the amateur rap. Look, man, we got dogs all over the depth chart. Monsters on the roster. Straighten up that posture. Rooting out you imposters. Silver bullets in the chamber. And a D-line full of danger. Step back with that linebacker trigger, when he pull it, it'll bang ya. Running backs running downhill, touchdown on your IG reel. Better check the stats, buddy, it's straight facts over how you feel. Whenever I speak, I'm giving you more balls than German Village, Short North, and High Street. And you know, the average Joe can do nothing with my flow. It's a waste, somebody please give this brother an I.O. Come on.
I told y'all before, I need to feel y'all's energy. Stop sitting on y'all hands and get this place lit. Like I said, bring the energy.
Yeah, you know what time it is. I'm brawl with them boys of the fall. You know what time it is. On the ground with a nose for the ball. You know what time it is. Blood, sweat, and them tears for this game. Leaving it all out on the field with no fear for you lame. You know what time it is. I'm brawl with them boys of the fall. You know what time it is. On the ground with a nose for the ball. You know what time it is. Blood, sweat, and them tears for this game. Leaving it all out on the field with no fear for you lame.
It's Buckeyes by a billion. We in the building with over 100,000. We represent from the